Yo, what is going on, everybody? Hey, this is your boy JC from JC Eagles Talk, and tonight I have with me a special guest, Mr. John Hendricks himself. Hey, I'm about to let him introduce himself, and then we're about to get into it.
Yeah, John Hendricks here, Saints News Network, Sports Illustrated. Do Believe in Saints podcast with Terrence Copper. Played 10 years in the NFL, and just a whole bunch of good stuff going on, man. Thanks for having me tonight.
Hey, no problem, man. Hey, no problem. Look, all right, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, the injury reports. The Philadelphia Eagles, as far as injury, we have Derek Barnett. He's probably not going to play, which, depending how you look at it, could be a big loss. He leads our team in penalties. So in that case, it's not a big loss. So we ain't got to worry about him jumping off sides and getting key penalties at the wrong time. This guy, like, if you're talking about bad timing, he got it. Like, every time is bad timing. But lately he's been playing pretty good. So that might be a big loss. But we have a Sweat on there, a Millen Williams, a Kerrigan that could fill up for him. And pretty much everybody else is pretty healthy. Miles Sanders right now, we don't know if he's going to play yet. I haven't seen he's been activated back to the 52-man roster. So, and if he does, that's a bonus, because the past couple of weeks we've been doing pretty good with Jordan Howard and Boston Scott and Gainwell. So if Miles Sanders get activated, that's a bonus. If not, we still should be good to go. So as far as injuries go, talk to me. What is going on with the Saints right now?
Yeah, it's a big deal. First of all, Alvin Kamara is not going to play in this game. Second,
yes,
he's going to miss. Knee injury on him. And look, they're without their starting tackles. Their starting left tackle, Teron Armstead's out in this one. The knee and shoulder injury, and your starting right tackle, Ryan Ramczyk's out in this game. So a lot of odds to overcome. I think Mark Ingram did extremely well last week against the Titans. He's going to be the featured back, obviously, in this one. But, look, they have him out. Those guys out. Ty Montgomery's going to be out. We saw that last week. I mean, he had that pinky. It was like this and bone exposed or whatever it was. It was pretty ugly and gruesome. But defensively, you've got Malcolm Roach out, Tano Passignon. So, and Taysom Hill's questionable. So, injuries are never good. They're never ideal. But the Saints team has dealt with them all year. And they're going to have to push forward without in a really important game.
So, as far as the record go right now, do you feel like the injuries is the reason why that you're not in a better position, or do you feel like it's just bad timing, just bad play calling, just bad penalties that's killing y'all?
Yeah, I don't think it's I don't want to sit there and think it's the injury bug. The only time I think that was a real loss as a product of the environment was week 2 against the Panthers when they had the COVID stuff with the coaches, because you can't be down 8 coaches and still expect to put forth the best product. Giants game, they had that one, and the Giants came back, and then they won that game, right? Atlanta, they were sloppy. Then they came back, couldn't close it out. Against, as far as the Titans go, again, sloppy in the first half, was able to rally, wasn't able to get that one. So I think it's been a little bit uncharacteristic in some of the way they've lost these games. I don't think it's the injury because they have some strong depth and it's kind of the next man up mentality. So it's never been a thing where, hey, if this guy would have been in the lineup, maybe you would see difference because they've beaten teams like the Bucks and the Packers and the Patriots on the road. So it's like it's so hard to put a gauge on this team. They've been so inconsistent. And now hopefully we'll see what the real team is going to be like 8 games left in the season.
Yeah, and that's the thing with like every team every Sunday. Like you never know who's going to be who. Like you said, the Saints beat the Bucks and then they turn around and lose to the Falcons. Like the Ravens, they could beat anybody and turn around they lose to the freaking the Dolphins. It's just like this up and down. There's no team dominating at all. AFC, NFC, it doesn't matter. Everybody is still in the picture as long as you don't give up and keep fighting. Who knows? The NFL is not about who got the best record. It's about who get hot at the right time, who's clicking at the right moment. 7 games left for the Philadelphia Eagles. 8 games left, you say, for y'all, or 7?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 and 4 right now, so they've got 8 to go.
So 8 games left for y'all. It's all about who could get hot at the right time. Who knows? The Panthers with Cam Newton back, they might get re-energized. This is going to be a close race for 6th and 7th. But yeah, so look, All right, overall, how are you feeling about this game? Like, what is your fan or your gut is telling you about this game?
I believe it or not, I feel pretty good about this game. And the
Okay.
thing is, I guess going into it, you know what you're going to get in this game, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close one. First of all, second of all, I think they've got enough there to be able to put points up on the board. Trevor Simeon's been pretty good for him. I mean, he's not. They haven't lost games because of Trevor Simeon. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
It's been more in the details and the lack of discipline, the shooting themselves in the foot, just all these types of different things that have happened with this team. But you
Mhm.
know, there's a couple of things that in order for them to win, right? And first of all, I remember that game last year. I was there. It was weird being at Lincoln Financial Field and there was no fans.
No
I'll just say
fans.
that first of all. That was such a weird experience because I obviously it was the first time in Philly and all that, but um, that was weird in itself. And the
Yeah.
Saints just got manhandled on that one. I mean, they were down 17-0. Everybody talked about that 100-yard rushing streak and all that, and Eagles just put a damper on
Blew it
that
out
one.
the way.
Yeah, they blew it out the water. And so, if they can solve for that running game of the Eagles, if they can isolate Jalen Hurts, whether that's running a spy on him or just not let him beat him. I mean,
Mhm.
Devontae is extremely talented. I asked Sean Payton about him today, and he's like, "Look, he was the top rated wide receiver that we had, period, on our board in Saints. He's a great route runner, does extremely well, been a good pick for Philly and such." So not sure what version of Lattimore we get this week, but that's going to be a huge focal point in this matchup. And then offensively, are you going to be able to move the ball with what you have? Because they've struggled with drops, they've struggled with
Mhm.
penalties, they've struggled with a lot. I mean, it's maddening because this team could easily be 8-1 right now, and it's not even just like a hey Homer fan base or just anything. It's just all the ways they found a ways to lose and shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, it could be a lot better than where they're at right now. But it's the NFL and it's week to week, and
Exactly.
there are no almost wins or anything that counts or feel good stuff.
Yes. So last year, like it seemed like it's almost like a deja vu. The Saints were ranked number
Yeah.
two, I guess, last year coming into this game. As far as the run defense, this year they're ranked number one. The Philadelphia Eagles, at the time, like we just threw Jalen Hurts in, and we didn't know what we was going to get from him, but we knew one thing, that he was a dual threat quarterback with Miles Sanders and stuff like that. So this year, it's the exact same thing. All right, the Saints are ranked number one. So who has the advantage? The Eagles' run defense, um, a run offense, or the Saints, run defense coming into this matchup? Especially y'all faced them last year.
Yeah, I would tell you, and I remember that game because I was concerned because they had lost Malcolm Brown for an injury, and he was out. And I said, "This is where it's going to happen," because Malcolm
Mhm.
Brown was so instrumental in plugging up the run. And so now you look at a similar situation here. They're going to be missing Malcolm Roach. They'll probably have some other guys there, Shy Tuttle, David Onyemata, just ways they're going to plug it up. And so I think they'll do better because I've thought about it. Early on, it's like, oh, maybe they're okay. And then I've just seen against the Titans, obviously, no Derrick Henry. So I wish he would have played in that game. So we really would have got a true gauge on it. But,
Yeah.
just against the Bucks, against the Falcons, all these different teams that they face, they're really strong against the run. I think the advantage would have to go to the run defense there. But again, the Saints are not a good team against the mobile quarterback dual threat. Just how the history has gone. And so if the Eagles can get creative offensively, I think that's their best way to move the football against this run defense. Again, ideally, you want Jalen Hurts to be able to beat you with the arm. That's the idea. And just like
Yeah.
they had Tannehill, crossing routes, rub routes, that was a huge thing that was able to find success against the Saints. If I'm the Eagles, I'm looking at what Titans did last week, and I'm going to do enough of that to be able to try to really throw this defense off.
I mean, it's funny because the Titans don't have a mobile quarterback. I mean, they have Tannehill. I mean, he's mobile enough, but he's not like a dual threat quarterback that you say, you know what, we about to go into this game and stop Tannehill from running. But the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, look, I feel like it's a revenge game with Sean Payton, a very, very smart coach. This game to me is like a pickup. I'm very nervous about this game, especially playing at home for some odd reason. Hey, that is our Achilles heel. We can't win at home. Us fans have not seen a home win yet, so we'll see what happens. But as far as the matchup, what matchup are you looking towards the most to see? Is it Devontae Smith against Lattimore? Is it your offensive line versus the Eagles' defensive line? Like, what matchup are you looking forward towards more?
Yeah, I think those are the two that you hit on. I think more so on the offensive line versus the Eagles front seven, right? And so
Mhm.
extremely talented. Very even if Barnett plays or doesn't play, they still have a lot of guys you talked about. Sean Payton singled them out earlier in the week in the conference call, and so that's the challenge, right? Is how do you find success? The interior play on the offensive line has been a little bit of suspect for this team, and so you're looking at essentially Cesar Ruiz is the only guy that's played like every game played for you, right? And so they're having a second year undrafted guy at left guard because Andres Pete's out. You have a
Mhm.
veteran and James Hurst at left tackle, and you have the rookie Landon Young at the right tackle. These guys are talented. I mean, they are, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to hold up against Eagles. I mean, if I'm bringing pressure, stacking the box, I mean, it's going to be hard for the Saints to be able to move the football. So I think that's the first matchup that I'm looking at off the bat. And yeah, I think on the other side of the football, again, how they match up against Jalen Hurts and what they do. I mean, that's really the big thing here for me is, they're going to run a spy. Is it Quan Alexander that's going to be on him? Is it Pete Warner? Do they throw a cornerback like a Bradley
Yeah.
Roby on him? Do they use somebody else that's on that? So I think those are two interesting matchups for me that I would look at, and definitely Devontae Smith against Lattimore. And I think that's depends on if they're going to have him cover and shadow him or if they're just
Yeah.
going to see what side he goes. Because if it's on the other side, he'll have to face off against rookie Paulson Adebo and possibly Bradley Roby because those two they
Mhm.
interchange those guys different series and stuff. So definitely one of those things. And then Goddard, the tight end. I mean, he just got paid today, right? So that's a
Yes, he
huge one
got
for him.
paid. Hey, you
Definitely.
see it on the bottom screen. He got paid 4 years, $57 million, 35 million
Mhm.
guaranteed. I mean, that's top three, for a tight end in the league. So hey, hopefully he cleared the concussion protocol. So I haven't heard he cleared it yet. So we'll see if he plays. So, but all right,
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
uh,
Huge matchups all around. I mean,
yeah.
it's definitely one of those games where you're just like, man, where's the chess match and where are you going to find success? It's tough to look at it and see where that's going to come from for sure.
Look, if I gotta pick a coach to hit the right chess match, it's Sean Payton. I mean, Nick Sirianni, he's a rookie coach. Like this is probably going to be his biggest game of his career. Like you about to go against the Saints. You are somewhat like on a roll. We won 2 out of 3. You're at home. Everybody is giving you praise for the blowout win against the Denver Broncos. You went up to Mile High and beat the bricks out of them. And now you at home, you need to get a win. So are you gonna fold or are you gonna step up? If I got my money on the coaches wide, I'm gonna put it on Sean Payton, especially seeing this team last year. He saw Jalen Hurts last year. Now, if this was the first time the Saints was seeing Jalen Hurts, I'd be like, all right, we might have the advantage. But seeing him last year and being embarrassed, as the number one ranked defense and getting beat, I think that's going to have something to do with it. So the starting quarterback. So who would you rather want to start against the Philadelphia Eagles? Not the rest of the season, but against the Philadelphia Eagles, Simeon or Hill?
Simeon, I mean, the guy has not done anything wrong. They're not losing games because Trevor Simeon's their quarterback. They're losing
Mhm.
games because the receivers aren't catching passes or they're getting bad penalties and defensively having breakdowns or the explosive plays. But look, he's been good for this team. And, some people made the assumption or made the connection that they thought maybe they're a little bit better with him at quarterback versus Jameis. And I don't know if I buy that, but it was an interesting take to say the least. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say so. But look, he's a veteran in this league. And again, I think what you can appreciate is that Sean Payton's system has really been quarterback friendly. And this is not just a like Taysom last year with Trevor now, with Jameis, with Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, Luke McCown came in a game when Drew was hurt in 2015, I want to say, and he almost beat the Panthers single handedly. He was super efficient. So it's one of those that Simeon, again, I get it. He's a quarterback that you look at like this guy from Denver that really didn't do anything,
Yeah.
but he has a Super Bowl ring, sat behind Peyton Manning, sat and learned a little bit from Drew Brees, poached from the Titans practice squad. He does a pretty good job. The only criticism I had from him from last week was in that 2-minute drill before the half. I thought he could have pulled the trigger on some of those throws, but he took 2 bad sacks on it. And so it was just one of those, there's a little bit of struggle bus, if you will. But again, Taysom Hill, going back to training camp without getting too much a tangent, him and Jameis obviously had went through this quarterback battle. If you want, I gave Jameis like a 98%
Yeah,
chance to win. That's how confident I felt. But
I
it's
did too. I started
Taysom,
looking in.
not that Taysom couldn't have been good, but his sample size last year, the
Yeah,
Eagles, it just wasn't good game and good film, and so and he improved a lot. But once he knew that he wasn't going to be the quarterback, he started preparing for all of his jack of all trade role. So
yeah,
instead of being building on his upper body, he worked on his lower body. And so now is a spot where he's so valuable to what the Saints do offensively. There was no chance or thought that, hey, Simeon wouldn't be the starting quarterback, it'd be Taysom Hill.
yeah. Like, look. With all due respect, I would choose Hill because the Philadelphia Eagles have problems with mobile quarterbacks. I mean, because they are so aggressive. Where if you do an RPO, the end is already crushing in. Just so Hill could just he could extend the play a lot more. But the Philadelphia Eagles do very very well with quarterbacks that does not get rid of the ball under 3 seconds. Like literally, if it's like 2.5 and above, most likely, and you might get sacked. That's why all of our wins came against Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, uh, Darnold, and Bridgewater. 4 wins, 4 quarterbacks that does not get rid of the ball fast. So Simeon, like, I don't know how fast he get rid of the ball, but watching a couple Saints game because it was on national TV and stuff like that, I'm like, wow, okay. If I was Sean Payton, I would just throw a monkey wrench in it. The Eagles are not expecting Taysom Hill to start. They're trying to get ready for Simeon. Hey, I'm just going to just start Hill. And then, hey, worst case scenario, you bring in Simeon if he's not doing good. But, hey, we'll see what happens. So this is a very good question. As far as a special team goes, like, how good are the Saints special teams? I know about the defense. I know about the offense. How's your special teams?
Well, let me first say that the kicking game is struggle. It's really suspect, and so they just waived Brian Johnson, their kicker that they brought in, so they
Oh,
don't have
yes,
Will
right.
Lutz, and it's been a problem. They had Brett Maher, and he was on in during training camp right after Lutz had kind of got hurt and such, and he had an injury that he was dealing with. So he's going to be the guy that kicks for him on Sunday. It's
Mhm.
what I think their fifth or sixth kicker that they're on right now, so it's definitely a tough sledding there. Special teams wise, their punter is outstanding. Blake Gillikin. I mean, if you go back and watch that Washington game, he had 3 punts inside the 5. And I mean, it was just incredible. He should have won Special Teams Player of the Week in that one. Ended up getting Special Teams Player of the Month. He's a guy that can just flip the field just like that. Return game is super strong. Deontay Harris, he did put one on the ground last week. That's very uncharacteristic for him. But, if I'm any special teams unit, I don't kick to him because he likes to bring it out. He's super fast. He can flip the field just like that. That's a really interesting one, and their coverage is really good. So I would tell you that their special teams unit outside of the kicking game is really
Mhm.
good going into this one.
All right. So as far as your offensive line, I mean, I know y'all banged up a little bit. So just give me some strength and weakness on your offensive line that the Eagles could possibly take advantage of.
Well, I tell you, the weakness right now is, and it's more of an unknown is
Mm-hmm.
what you have to do with the right tackle. Right? It's Landon Young. He's was been used in jumbo sets. He's been used all over the field. That's an area that you want to obviously maybe overload, exploit a little bit, and even up the middle. I think that's the weakness right now is the interior a little bit. Specifically, looking at guys like Cesar Ruiz. He's let some really bad pressures against the Titans go last week. Footing was seemed to be a challenge. That's probably where I would tell you that. I mean, he's done good, but there
Mm-hmm.
seems like some plays every week that we're looking at, and it's like, man, he just got whipped and he just got put on his butt or whatever the case may be. So I think that's where you want to attack. If I'm the Eagles, if you will, is that interior pressure is what's really going to be key for them. And the same
Nice.
breath, you're talking about pass protection, but running the football. I mean, this is an offensive line that can generate some push in the trenches and be able to get some success there. It didn't come at a premium against the Titans. Mark Ingram did have some good runs, but again, I'm a little concerned because you mentioned about the fact of quarterbacks holding on to the ball. Simeon's one of those guys. I mean, he can get some good, clean pockets, but if the wide receivers can't get any separation for him, it's going to lead to more sacks for this team, and they can't afford to go backwards. That's been a problem, and the thorn in their side is getting into second and longs, third and longs in these situations, and obviously penalties have been a big issue for them too, playing undisciplined.
All right. So as far as his defense strength and weakness go, I already know my guy, Cameron Jordan. So I know that's a strength right there. So besides him, I mean, how could the Saints defensive line get to Jalen Hurts or stop Jalen Hurts from running outside of pocket?
Yeah, Marcus Davenport with the other guy. I mean, he's the
Yeah.
other bookend here to Jordan, and obviously they're not going to have Tano Passignon. He's dealing with the injury, so that's a big loss for him because I think he's doing outstanding job this year. And you're also not going to have your first round pick in Peyton Turner. He's on IR, so it's those two guys. Carl Granderson. Maybe they do some extra things. They have guy Jalen Holmes that probably will play a little bit more in this one. Interior wise, David Onyemata is one that you got to really look out for. We call him a Manitoba monster. I mean, this guy is just outstanding at disrupting plays. If you go back to one of the films last week against the Titans, I mean, I'm telling you, he had a guy one hand that was just driving the guard back one-handed. I mean, he's just got that nasty streak on him. So he's a tough guy to go against. He likes to generate a lot of pass rush and pressure. And then you got Shai Tuttle, who's more of your run plugger guy. But look, I think those are the ones that you look at. But if they lose any of those guys, whether it's Davenport, Jordan, and kind of the subs into this game, past these starters, that's where I really would get concerned. Not that they aren't talented, but the drop off between those guys and not having guys like Turner or Passignon or Malcolm Roach, that's a big deal for this team.
All right, so we're gonna answer this one question that, up to this point, what three rookies has impressed you the most? I know y'all had a lot of injuries, so I don't know how many rookies are starting for y'all. So
yeah, I tell you, defensively, it'd be Pete Warner, linebacker. These guys played outstanding. Quan Alexander had got hurt early in the year and went on IR, and Warner's been outstanding. He's kind of had a little bit more of a regressed role with Quan coming back. But, look, he's been fantastic, first of all. Second would be Paulson Adebo, corner. This is Saints were a team where they had, going into it, they had Marshawn Lattimore and a question mark at cornerback. Patrick Robinson was the guy we thought was going to be there.
Yeah, Patrick Robinson,
he ended up retiring. Yeah, he ended up retiring and in training camp. And, look, nobody faults him for that or holds any ill will. And then you get Ken Crawley, who looks really good. He's playing at an elite level. He gets hurt and dealing with a hamstring injury. And then you got the rookie that comes into play. So I think he's done some fantastic work for him. And then as far as the third one, I'd say maybe it's Landon Young, the offensive tackle, just because, I mean, he's been more noticeable, but I do like their quarterback in Ian Book. I think he's done some really good things. They got these undrafted guys like Josiah Bronson that plays on the D line and such. But, for me, it'd probably have to be Young and Book just because he was impressive in training camp. Teams actually apparently called about him to trade for him before the season started. So, look, they've got some good rookies here. Maybe not the flashes before. Peyton Turner, he had some good moments, but look, he just your first round, 24th overall pick has really not been a factor for you. And his availability is the best quality you can have, and that just hasn't happened.
Yeah, facts. All right, so who's your impact player on both sides of the ball? Offense, who's that guy that's Philadelphia Eagles say, hey, if you let this guy go, hey, you're about to lose? Or on defense, this guy could kill you, pick it off, or sack, fumble. Who's that, those guys on both sides of the ball?
I think offensively, I'd say two is Deontay Harris, just because he's been the most consistent wide receiver. He's got ability to stretch the field. Super, super good there. And it's Mark Ingram. If you let him take over a game, hate digging up old wounds, but 2014 or 2013 playoffs when we went to Philly up there, I mean, it was Mark Ingram show. This guy was just running through the trenches, right? And that was a huge game, and it was a huge reason why the Saints were able to win that one. But defensively, I mean, again, not to open up old wounds, but Malcolm Jenkins is the huge difference maker here. He's a quarterback of the defense, and he puts people in the position to win. And Malcolm is so smart, so talented. I'm interested to see if he's a guy that maybe if Goddard plays, if he's going to match up against him. But, look, him and Demario Davis. I mean, Demario Davis needs really no introduction. He's one of the best linebackers in the league that nobody ever talks about. And so he's huge as far as his impact goes. So those would be the four that you watch. You let them take over the game, then it could be a long one for you.
Yeah, I love Davis. I think he's a linebacker that every team would want. He's a side to side. He's fast. He's physical. He's a run stuffer. I love the dude. I had him on my fantasy team, last year. And then Jenkins, he's coming home. I know he was a Saint first, but there's no city like the city of brotherly love. He missed Philly, and he was so pissed off that we could not give him an extra $3-4 million to let him stay, I feel like that he's going to impact this game a lot. I don't know if his emotions is going to be so high because the fans actually going to be there this time. So, but if I got to put my money on anybody on the Saints defense, will be Malcolm Jenkins. He could play Goddard, or he could play the slot. Rager or Quet. I mean, this guy is smart, and I love Jenkins. But this week is all about hate week. I don't care about Jenkins. I don't really care. So, hey, a couple more questions. We're about to wrap up. So, 3 keys to victory. All right. So, if the Saints do these 3 things right, they will win this game.
I think first and foremost is if they can come out and not be flat, is they got to be able to establish the tempo and possession early, just be able to convert some points on the board. It doesn't matter if it's a field goal drive or a touchdown drive. You've got to be able to establish and not find yourself behind in this one. Second thing is you've got to play discipline. I mean, I think if you look at it, it's almost 20 penalties in the last 2 games. That's not characteristic of a Sean Payton team. I mean, they play a lot more discipline than that. And I get it. The Caden Ellis roughing the passer play was a bad look, but what about the other 8 penalties that were called in addition to that? You know what I mean? So some of it, you can't sit here and play ref ball or blame it on that and stuff. But, I think that's the other thing is playing more discipline. You cut them in half, you give yourself a much better chance to win this game. The other key is going to be in the hidden yardage and special teams. I mean, again, a new kicker, Brett Maher is a veteran, played for Dallas, did a lot of things. They missed 3 extra points with the extra kicker last week, or the other kicker that they had. They haven't been so good in field goals. I mean, this has been just absolutely nuts. If they get into it, I expect it to be a close game, relatively low scoring, but if they can't convert some of these, they miss it, then oh boy, they are just screwed. I would just tell you that, because they've got Buffalo on home and then they got Dallas the week after. So you cannot afford to have a bad audition if I'm Brett Maher.
All right. Look, well, this week I will not be cheering for the Saints, and next week I will not be cheering for the Saints. But the following week, look, I will buy a Saints jersey. I'm the biggest Saints fan. Hey, I hate the Cowboys more than any team, so I will be cheering for the Saints.
No, it ain't so.
Yeah, come on now. So
I was gonna say we beat Washington, and so I know that's not as big a rival. I knew it's got. No,
it's good.
I grew up and. I'm 84, so I know all about the rivalry. I followed it closely for years. I know about Emmitt Smith, 4th and 1, Barry Switzer, Ray Rhodes, Grant Cunningham, Buddy Ryan, all those guys. Huge Eagles fan. Reggie White was one of my favorite players. Byron Evans, Herschel Walker back there. I remember, all their wide receivers, Fred Barnett. I mean, so many good Eagles come to mind that I just remember, but Randall Cunningham always has a special place in my heart because he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen play.
So how'd you become a Saints fan then? Come on, man. Like, you probably know more than some Eagle fans do right now about the history. So how did you become a Saints fan?
I live here. I mean, I live here, I mean, well, I tell you this, I grew up into a Cowboys family. So don't hold on. Grew up into a Cowboys family, so I knew what Dallas is about. I moved down into New Orleans or the area in '92 after Hurricane Andrew, so I got to see Dome Patrol and all that other stuff. So I got to see all that fun stuff, and so that's how you watch the Saints, you see all those good things. Bobby Adair, you see, go to the games and all that, and so again, you grow an affinity for them, and it's just one of those things. So hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't get me too flamed too bad, but again, growing up in a Cowboys family, but it is what it is.
Look,
you can't deny that the Cowboys had a really talented team. Obviously, they're triplets and all that fun stuff, but man, I just remember, what was it? I'll tell you this. I remember because growing up in a family, I went to the Eagles Cowboys playoff game in '92. That was the year where Dallas went 13-3. They won 34-10, and they were kept talking about like a local Dallas grocery store taking Philadelphia cream cheese off the market. That's how petty it was, right? Back then. And I was up there in one of the top rows freezing my butt off and stuff. But I remember being at that game and stuff. So it's wild. But again, going down nostalgia, I digress. A lot of love for the Eagles and a lot of love for the players, Donovan McNabb, all these guys. I could go on, but classic Eagles for sure. Love it. Love their throwback, like helmet, everything.
Look, even if you lose some Saint fans, you just gain some Eagle fans. Look at that. I love you, John Henry. See, I'm telling you, we are the city of brotherly love. Hey, you love us, we got you. You know what I mean? We'll take care of you. That's how Philly rolls. You know what I mean? And we got this bad rep, how we are mean and all this stuff. Come on, man. Really, we are the nicest people on earth, for real. You know what I mean? We just don't like the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
don't be a Cowboys fan. Don't be a Cowboys or Giants
It,
fan walking into the stadium. You're okay, I
that's
think.
it. That's it.
Maybe
That's
Bears
it.
too, but
But yeah, so
yeah.
all right. So I know you got to go. All right, your score prediction. I know you're gonna pick the Saints. All right, because you have a good job and you want to keep it. So with that being said, all right. So your score prediction and who wins on Sunday, and
Again, I think it's a close one. And again, I'm going to take the Saints by a field goal. I think it's 27-24. I just don't see this team losing 3 straight games. Losing 2 in a row, very uncharacteristic. Last time they lost 3 straight, I really have to go back and find out because I can't remember. It must have been the 7 to 9 years. That's what comes to mind offhand. It's been a long time. And so you know what's at stake. You're in a spot where you pretty much have to win this game. 2 of the next 3 is your best bet. If you can win 2 of those next 3, Buffalo is on the table on Thanksgiving. That's going to have a lot of emotion because Drew Brees is going to be there and calling the game, and he's going to be there during halftime getting honored. And you got Dallas. Dallas, we tend to have a pretty good success against Dallas at home, so we'll see what happens. But I got to take the Saints to win in this one. I can't fathom them losing 3 straight games with the talent they have on this roster.
Look, hey, I'm gonna pick the Eagles only because it's about damn time we get a win at home. I feel like the team is riding on high, off the big win. The Broncos last week was our best win as a whole. So I know this is a different ball game. Hey, this is Sean Payton coach team. But last year, y'all had Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Kamara. Like our defense was basically the same. But on offense-wise, y'all had better talent. And we still found a way to come out there and put up more points. Yes, Taysom Hill was the quarterback, but at the same time, I feel like the Philadelphia Eagles will have to score at least 30 because if we score under 30, we're gonna lose this point. Like this game, like all of our wins is like 30 points and over. So we have to put up 30. 30 is the magic number. So I see it being 30-27. Like you said, a field goal. I feel like the Saints going to tie it up. Oh! And then Jalen Hurts is going to march down the field slowly but surely. This is going to be, hey, Howie Roseman, you better sign me. I'm the guy for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's going to drive us into field goal range. And Big Leg Jake is going to come through, and Philadelphia Eagles going to get to their first home win. And I'll be there. You'll be there. Hopefully, we can take a picture together, and have some good time over there. You know what I mean?
There you go. There you go. Yeah, and y'all be sure to let me know the second time I'm going to be in Philly. Y'all let me know what the best cheesesteak is because I had a couple last time, and so I wasn't disappointed. But apparently, I guess I didn't go to the right spot. I think it was Pat's and then somewhere else. But I mean, it was
went
good.
To Geno's last time. It was
Geno's. That's what it was.
It wasn't really that good actually. Like I was there like a couple for the Bucks game, and Geno's like I was kind of disappointed. So next time I might try that, or I might try inside Philly. These little diners. Those are the real spots to go get a Philly cheesesteak. Yes, we blew Pat's and Geno's, but I don't know. I had some good Philly cheesesteak inside the city, but we'll see what happened. Look, hey, I appreciate you, man. Hey, thank you for coming on. Like I said, I will be at the game on Sunday, and I will hit you up on Twitter, and we could hook up and have a couple, and hey, we'll see what happened and enjoy the game together.
All right, bud. Yeah, sounds good, man. Let me know.
All right, man.
I'll be there bright and early, I'm sure. At least a little early, a couple hours before kickoff.
Yeah, me too. Because right now I'm in Virginia. So I'm going to leave Virginia probably around like 8 or 7 o'clock. Probably get there probably like 9:30 or 10. And then sit out there, enjoy, just talk to the fans and stuff. And
there you go.
Try and gauge, where they're at, how excited they are. I'm telling you right now, the Philadelphia Eagles win this game, we're making the playoffs. So this is like we win this game, we're making the playoffs. The city is on high. The players on high. They barely practiced this week for some odd reason, but everybody's on high. Hey, we'll see what happened. So look, I appreciate you and thank you very much. And hey, y'all know how we do. Go Birds, beat the Saints.